Straight to it, Adam.
Yeah, hopping in.
Jumping off at the deep end. Let's do it. Welcome everybody to another extraordinary and exciting installment
Okay.
of the Diamond Cutter Classics Mixed Nuts translation. Xuanzang's Tower. We're thrilled to have you, Adam, especially. Um, and yeah, we're very grateful that you take the time to be with us today. Here we go.
Hand raised too. Yeah, can you guys see this?
Yes.
Okay.
We can.
All right. So in sections 545 to 546, what does the mind-only school pose to the sutra school about how an object generates or causes a consciousness resembling itself? And which option does the passage reject? Two things. Um, and I would give a hint as saying in total or in part.
Yeah, like
And
so if the sense consciousness can see atoms or patches, right?
yeah, yeah, yeah. So it's yeah, well here we'll get the answer and then kind of go through a little bit of an explanation if it needs it. Yeah, so the mind only challenges the sutras like this. They say if the object causes a consciousness that resembles the object, um, does that consciousness resemble the object in every essence? So the Tibetan here was Dak Ni Tamche, or only in some ways, right? Chokre Sam. So the passage then attacks the first option, right, by saying that it resembles the object in every way. Because the sense consciousness would have to be produced in the aspect of a rough thing, and the text rules this out because it's saying it's demirik. Why would that be the case? Um, I mean, can somebody make sense of this? Okay. Our let's say that aspect, right? Akara, the nampa that's generated in the mind, right? Is that thing rough or is it subtle?
Which one again? I'm sorry.
Let's say just a nampa, right? So the image that's generated in the likeness of the object by the mind, is that thing rough or is it subtle?
Um, it would be rough.
Well,
Apparently not.
that's an interesting take. I was going to go the opposite way, but I appreciate the pushback. This will make for an interesting discussion. Yeah, so this is, I think, precisely what that was Venerable Upala, correct?
Yeah.
I think what Upala was just saying, we could really use that to kind of tease this out a little bit. Um,
Well, because the atoms don't appear to that
the
consciousness.
atoms do not appear, right? But
Right.
the question here is whether or not the object in its totality is being represented as the aspect in the mind, or if it's just kind of a likeness, something that resembles it, right? So is the resemblance of the object, does it take on the entirety of the object, or is it just this kind of very general kind of presentation, right?
Seems like it has to be general.
It would have to be general. And the reason I think Ben is hitting this on the nose. I don't know if this would be the reasoning behind why he suggests this or not, but you would have to consider that the coarse aspect would have to be a part of the object itself, right?
Oh.
So the fact that it was coarse, or the fact that it is a rough object, or I don't want to say fact because that would make it unchanging, but being a rough object would have to be something that would be present in the nampa, right? In that resemblance. And I think the reason I would have a hard time thinking we could take the Nampa and put it on a scale to weigh, right? So I don't know if it would necessarily have a physicality to it.
Right.
Makes sense. I mean, so I don't know
Yeah.
if we could say that
But
it carries a. I don't
neither
know if we
does
could say that
mind.
it does. I mean, that's I wouldn't say so. No.
Yeah, but mind is still
It's still a changing thing, but it's not physical,
considered
right?
substantial in this
It's
school, right?
Yeah. Um, I don't even know if we would consider it substantial or not.
I think that the two types of substance in this school would be
One is
Pampa
mind.
or Rigpa, yeah.
Okay. Does that make sense, everybody?
Oh, yeah, I don't know if it makes sense. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's hard.
Um,
That's a
yeah.
different
So
question.
the idea here, are we waiting on Geshe? Is he coming, or is this?
Yes and yes, I think.
Okay.
I think so and I think so. No, I see him.
Again.
Look at that happy fella. Everything's
Yeah.
gonna be okay.
That's a
Yay.
smile I'm after with my practice too. Um, um, yeah, so we'd have to consider like a pen, right? Like if we were looking at a pen and we're going to say that the pen triggers a consciousness, if the pen triggers an awareness of the pen itself, and within the mind is produced a resemblance of the pen, the question here is whether or not the object is whether or not I keep wanting to say the aspect. It's Nampa, right? And I don't think we've come up with a different word. So that resemblance in the mind that's triggered by the perception of the pen, does that represent the object in its totality, or does it only resemble it in a few ways, right? In a general way.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think the reason and I think the reason that KJJ was pointing this out, and it's kind of, it is a little nuanced, but I think what he's saying here, this is my takeaway at least, is that the object itself would have to have a coarse aspect. The physical object would have to have a part of it that is coarse, that is rough itself. And you would have to have that quality be reflected in the Nampa, right? Which would mean that the Nampa was then carrying with it some physicality.
Huh.
Too much? No.
Where do you get the carrying with?
Well, because it would be, we use the word tepa, right? Tepa means to project itself. So I would say that it would be in the same way that it would be projected at, right? It would carry with all of its aspects. Does that make sense though?
Yeah.
It's okay.
Yeah, that's cool.
A little bit, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And I thought this was kind of a good vocab word, chokre-tsam, if you guys wanted to make note of that. Anyways, so according to section 546, which is where we kind of left off, right? This is the second part of this argument from number one. According to section 546, what exactly is and what is not being refuted regarding how rough aspects appear to sense perception in the Sautrantika school? And this closely parallels what we were just saying.
Jacqueline said whether or not it's in a flow or not.
Hold that for question 3, please.
This is about atoms is like ultimate reality, and any patch is not ultimate reality, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of what we've been driving towards, right? For the past like few classes. Yeah.
So
All right.
I think the mind only school says that Sautrantika school does not accept patches as ultimate reality.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, but I mean, it's a little interesting because our last class, I mean, I agree with you. First off, I agree. But it was interesting because in our last class, we were talking about how um, the eye picks up patches of blue as mere blue, and it doesn't recognize all the individual atoms, but the eye does pick it up. And yeah, this is the crossover between the two schools. So thanks for pointing that out, Oscar. All right. So the section is not refuting the claim that the Sutra school asserts that coarse aspects, or let's say rough aspects, appear to the sense consciousnesses. But it does say that it isn't an argument that blocks the Sutra school's position that rough forms appear, right? In the same way that we were just talking about blue, right? Or you could think about like a car, like your perception of a car. Like you don't perceive each one of the individual screws. You don't perceive each one of the, individual components and the brakes and everything separately, right? But you do perceive a car, or at least your eye sense consciousness picks up on the qualities and the characteristics of that car. So what it does refute is the stronger consequence, which is tied to the resemblance in every essence, right? Because what would that mean? That would mean that the object, the akara, in your mind would have to contain every aspect of that object again, which would mean that you would have to be perceiving the backside of it, right? The bottom of it, right? Simultaneously, right? So it's another way of kind of proving the same thing that we did in question one. Yeah. So the sense consciousness would necessarily be generated as something that has the aspect of a rough object. All right. So using sections, and this was the majority of it. So whoever had the comment about the continuum and the string or the flow, the stream, and for question two, you might want to see how it could be applied here.
Something that exists as a flow has to be a collection. It can't be a single thing.
Yeah, totally. Does anybody remember the definitions that were given to tie it all up at the end? No?
Sound cannot be base reality because it's a functional thing which consists of many instants of times.
All right. There you go. Hold on. Oh, did you just do that from memory?
No, I'm looking at my notes.
Yeah. Well done. Yeah.
Well,
And there was an interesting kind of word here. I wanted to make sure it wasn't Kongbu instead of Kongbu.
don't say too much. It's probably Kompula.
Kompula. Yeah.
Probably. Yeah.
Well, this is why I use lump right here.
Yeah, it is a lump. Yeah.
Okay.
A good translation.
Okay.
If you leave the L on it, it means a slow lump, which is the definition of certain
say hello.
people. But
They can't see you. Okay, there you are. You see? Okay, so the argument says that if someone holds the view that streams cannot be established as substances, then sound would absurdly become a counterexample against itself, right? Because sound is a stream, so it would follow that sound cannot be a substance, right? So if we're saying that that streams can't be substances, right? And if sound is a stream, then you would be claiming that sound isn't a substance, right? And K-Trip J takes that and he insists that sound is a functioning thing made of many parts, many momentary parts. It's K-Chick, which is the definition that Venerable Paula gave us right there. So, or at least the description. So you'd be forced into saying that sound is nothing but a single instant, Right.
Which again in Stanley's text, what they say about of all the 5 objects of the
It's
sense,
the most ephemeral. So,
sound cannot exist in the moment
mhm.
because it has to exist as a flow of like physical form. Stuff that you can touch can exist as an atom. You have
Yeah.
trouble defining atoms with sounds in
Yeah.
them. It's an exception, and I think that's why he's chosen it here.
So Kjip then explains why using something like no stream, you're kind of talking about how it would exist as similar moments instead of, how would I put it?
I think in this school, if it's not if it doesn't have a existence as an atom, it's not real. Only
So-
atoms are. It's very similar to science. The base reality is atoms, atom, indivisible pieces. So, and then you have trouble with sound because you cannot catch a moment. You cannot catch an atom of sound. There is no smallest moment in time of sound. So it draws into question the reality of sound, because in these schools, it has to have an atomic reality, which is what science says also. Yeah. But the important thing with this school, the important thing we're studying in this school, this is the logic schools. That's the second school. So they say there is an external reality. And I remember, what's his name, who loaned us the building foolishly in New York? Leon.
Leon, yeah.
Famous question like 25, 30 years ago, how can is it that the outside object is instigating a consciousness? Does the cup trigger an awareness of the cup? And we all feel that that's the case, and science says that's the case. And the first 2 schools say that's the case. Therefore, they're called outer object schools. Then when you get to the 3rd school, they say, you're just watching something in your side of your own mind. Okay? So if things are out there, something has to be triggering an awareness in your mind, which means the cup came first. And then the atoms in the cup triggered an awareness. And that's how we feel about things. Someone says, guess what's behind my hand, and then you go, da-da, and then it feels like the cup is triggering a consciousness. But actually, you're creating a no cup, and you're creating a cup. And there is no reality coming from the cup. Because there's problems with deciding whether or not the atoms can trigger a perception. They're too small to be detected by the sense consciousness. But that's the only reality of the cup. You see what I mean? In those schools, when you get down to atomic level, that's the real stuff. Everything else is just a bunch of atoms. But the atoms is the base reality. But your eye cannot detect atoms. So what's going on? And that's what this whole discussion's about. How can you? And it's and I challenge you to see it as equal to the discussion in the Gajana of how can a seed cause a tree if they cannot exist in the same moment.
Yeah.
And if you say, well, the seed comes first and then the tree comes second and the seed causes the tree, well, then everything else in the universe is causing the tree, because they have the same relationship to the tree, which is 0.
Yeah.
Okay. Everything with 0
could be.
relationship to the tree should therefore cause the tree. If a seed can cause a tree, because in the tree's time, the seed is gone. If nothing can cause a tree, which according is what you're saying when you say the seed causes the tree, then everything else can cause the tree. Then a dog's rear end can cause a tree. And it's the same argument here. I challenge you to figure it out. It's exactly the same argument. Is it the atoms in the cup that trigger your awareness? Or is it somehow the combination of the atoms in the cup? Because there's no reality to this cup except its atoms. The combination of atoms is not a reality. That's a construct.
Mm-hmm.
This school, when you get to constructs, those are constructs. Those are images. Those are mental images. They are not reality. They're molecules, if you want to go that far. They're not atoms. Okay. It's very interesting. It's really, they're discussing, can a thing exist outside?
Yeah.
It's not stupid argument. Everyone in the world feels like the cup is outside. And somehow that's keeping you suffering. And somehow that's causing your death. So it's good to figure it out. It's worth it to take the time to go through these texts. They're not ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
They are the choice between being mortal or immortal. Okay. Okay.
Yeah. So the last thing, sorry, just the last thing to point out, these were kind of two definitions that were given, which I thought, and I don't even know if they're like definitive definitions or not, or if they're more just descriptions. Anyways, I thought it was kind of interesting to point out. I did have a question though, quickly. When it comes to perceiving the atoms of a cup, we can't necessarily, like, if we say that the cup itself triggers an awareness, the atoms working in concert trigger an awareness of the cup. How do the individual atoms, if we can't see any particular singular atom itself, how do they work in concert to trigger an awareness?
They don't, and it's a wrong idea, and that's why we're studying this. To believe that the cup has any external reality is a mistake.
Mm-hmm.
Well, even
we're just trying to prove it.
Even from the perspective of the second school, like
any school.
Okay.
Well, that's why they're having this argument. But inside the second school, you would say, oh, it's made of atoms, and the atoms are triggering. The atoms are stimulating the back of my eyeball, and rods and cones are switching on off, and I'm seeing color and shape.
I guess a question that I've been really struggling with was just a question.
Struggle faster because we're going to run out of time.
Yeah, sorry again. It's just it would appear that if we were perceiving individual atoms working together, that we wouldn't be able to perceive all of them simultaneously at the same time. So it almost suggests that we would have to perceive one after the other, and this kind of like cascade of awarenesses, right? That would then kind of
debate if you want me to be the second school guy. Look, I'm not saying you see the atoms be at the backside of the apple when you see the apple. I'm just talking about the atoms that display themselves on the front side. I admit it could be a very good cardboard cutout because I can't see the back of the apple when I'm looking at the apple. That's what they would say.
Sorry. Okay.
Okay. Translation. What's going on here? You gotta shrink it a bit. We can't read you gotta shrink the size a bit on your screen. I can't do it.
Is that okay?
A little
we
more.
cannot see from side to side.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You gotta do that corner
here.
thing.
Sorry.
Upper right to lower. There you go. Okay.
Yeah, okay. I get it.
Pretty close. Now we can't see the left side of you. We can't see the left margin.
Oh, this is interesting. Okay.
There you go. Stop.
Yep.
Okay. Adam, you're gonna read the first one. 555.
Okay. Shindak nare dotren chame ni chechen suki chungwei tartuk pa yimbartel.
Wait, are you going down or up?
I'm going up. Dotren chame hold on. We'll go suki chungwei tartuk pa yimbartel.
I think they believe it, Adam. So would they go up?
Yimbar. Well, we're going up.
When you believe
Yimbatao.
it, you go up.
Yeah.
Yimbatao?
Go down.
Yimbatao? Which in English is, it is so. Okay.
Was I not being emphatic enough? I'll try to work on it.
Huh?
Uh,
Oh,
Think of
do-
it like a song.
oh,
Da-
right.
Chen,
And
keep
yeah.
going, keep going.
Dolcen chame
This text is going to
yimbe
take 200 years if you don't keep going.
Dolcen chame yimbe cher.
Okay.
Kappa kelang duna dolcen chiki gosa le numbe nupa me partelo shena.
Nice. This is one long argument with several pieces, okay? We have to keep going up till Shen, huh? Okay. Shen dag Adam.
Others may say,
Yeah, other guys say it has to be plural. That's the dark, okay? Other guys say, what's takba?
like pure, holy, right?
Pure. Tark alone means plural. Okay. So other guys say, let's take a dual chen charmit.
A partless atom.
Yeah, an indivisible atom. When you get down to atomic level, not even molecule. Molecule is still divisible. Go down to atom, indivisible.
Mm-hmm.
That's Sanskrit, Indo-European root, tum. And it meant a division created by a fence, and religious sites were supposed to be separated from the village by a fence, tum. So they were called temple. Temple. Okay.
Oh.
Is the root of temple.
Huh.
Atom means indivisible.
Well,
Okay. So anyway, do ten chame atoms. Ni.
two.
Let's take two of them. Okay. I think it's going down. I think it's, well, I don't know. Let's see if it goes down or up. Suki chue, what's tartu?
I chose limit right here.
What is it in the four steps in the famous Guadalajara?
Rejoice or afterwards?
Or
It's
like
the
throwing a
final-
party.
It's
Pardon me.
the denouement. It's the final conclusion, which in that case means rejoicing, which makes the karma powerful. So the Guadalajara group has called their group Tartuk. Pasa Tartuk? Yeah. Okay. Here it means Chungwa Tartuk.
The smallest or
The
smallness.
extreme small, the smallest of the small. Okay. The ultimate small. Okay. Which means an atom, atom. In Buddhist, in Abhidharma philosophy and in science, when you break an atom, it loses its fundamental qualities. It is no longer a metal or a gas, or then it just becomes a proton that every element can use. See what I mean? Okay, Suki Chungwe Tartupa Yimbata. It must be the smallest unit of matter because it is
They're
chame,
partless.
indivisible. Which science also says when you split an atom into protons, electrons, muons, it loses its identity. It's no longer a gas, or it's no longer a metal, or like that. Okay. You're the one who said if a thing was indivisible, it had to be the smallest unit of matter. Okay. Do you agree? Because yeah, that's what I said. If it's indivisible, if it were divided, but it would lose its identity as a metal or a gas or whatever, then you're talking subatomic particles, and those are interchangeable. Different elements have the same subatomic particles in a different, we call those valences. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Partless means if you divided it, it would lose its unique identity, in which science also says all atoms are the same protons, electrons in a different valences, in different orbits, but it's all the same stuff. If you broke an atom in two, what you'd have left is unidentifiable protons, electrons, neutrons. Okay, and you would also create a nuclear explosion. Okay, okay. That's no, but you'd say the leg is also made of wood molecules, which are made of atoms of carbon. Okay, okay, Kiaba Kelong, you're the one who said that. Duna, if you agree, Dutan Chiki, this is he has changed a carver is used to GOS, which means clothing. Okay, and this is actually two syllables, kosa, which means the space taken up by an atom. Okay, the position in three-dimensional space is called kosa. Say kosa.
Kosa.
Yeah. And it's ka. It's low tone. It does not exist in the English language. It's not gosa. Ko. Kosa.
Don't hurt
Okay.
yourself.
So do take it kosa la le nimbe me nipa meba talo. It is not capable of taking up the space that a subatomic particle would take, or an atom would take. Okay. All right. Let's go.
Okay, again.
You got more?
No, that was it.
All right, let's go. Let's get to work.
How do I stop that share? Okay.
Allow, I don't mind. Okay, here we go. Oh, I have some things to show off, which is my normal thing. Johnny O.
Yay!
His platelets, if the platelets in your blood are not over 100,000, you can't sustain life. And they were very worried because his platelets were low after his open heart surgery. And they just jumped to 125, which means he's going to be probably fine. And he had open heart surgery a couple of days ago, and it was very successful. But the platelets were too low to sustain life. And they just jumped. She asked for prayers, his girlfriend. And I don't know, it wasn't me, okay? Somebody was praying, and the platelets did an extraordinary jump. And so it looks like he's going to be okay.
Okay, I can see that.
And our group
That's really cool.
donated $17,000 of GoFundMe for his expenses. And so thank you to everybody. Okay. Then I got another picture here. Where's not that one, this one. This is Rosa with the new book that came out yesterday morning. Jetson Kappa's Teacher's Commentary on the Guardian's Letter. And it's an extremely good book. And I told the group here today, if you want to teach new people, use this book. It's a brilliant book for new people. Okay. If you want to have a class for, a bunch of new people, this is a great book to start with. Okay. All right. And there you see one of the two main people who got it going, which was Rosa and Anatole. So yay. Anatole has a secret helper at home not named Kiri, it's Pumpkin. Okay. All right. All right. Okay. Where are we, Adam? Oh yeah. Shina. Okay. Who's gonna read, Adam?
I kind of like the system of picking somebody there with you guys so that they can choose the next person.
I'll pick the first person and then they can pick the person after that.
Seems to go a little quicker.
Yeah. Mike Tyson. Mike Hoffman, not Mike Tyson. Okay, there you go. Adam, you got the plane, okay?
Okay.
Wona dute kechik magya chichen. Kila dute kechigma chiki yun sele miparta. Dute kechik.
By the way, that's called cheating to tell. It's a technique developed by our translators. They don't go up or down the tell.
Dute kechik mayim pager. Kabso keso.
Yeah, okay, so here we go. Ona any yeah, well then. Two, like Dunkor, wheel of time, Kala chakra. Kala, time, right? As found in the word accelerator. Ta means limit. Okay, meaning the smallest. We've been talking about atoms, and he says, let's talk about milliseconds, because they're also the smallest things. So in this school, there's two smallest things, smallest length of time and the smallest piece of thing. So they should follow the same rules probably. And science believes that also, okay? A lot of these wrong ideas are held by science also. Do you take kechikma? A single second, single instant. Now let's say you pile up gya of them.
100.
1,000, 100,
100. Okay.
9.
Yeah,
900.
gya means 100. Okay, like she gyapa is the 400 verses of Arya David, for example. Okay, gya. Let's suppose you pile up 100 smallest milliseconds of time. This is Ketu J talking. Okay. Kila dute kechi machiki yun say le mepa means it must not be more than. Le mepa means it must not be more than. When you pile up 100 smallest units of time, it must amount to no more than kechik chik,
1 instant of time.
a single instant. Smallest means no matter how many you piled up, it would still be the same length of time, because that's smallest. If you had a space of time that had no length, which is smallest, you could put 100 in the same bag and it would still be a smallest. If you found a smallest atom that where the left side touched the right side, then you could put 100 in a bag and it would still be the same width. That's the idea. Ketu J is saying, he's trying to struggle with the guy. Do you understand how impossible this stuff is that you believe the world is made of? Do you think there's atoms? Yes. Are they the smallest possible thing? Yes. Does the left side touch the right side? No. Well, then you could split it and they would be smaller. And he's like, no, okay, so the left side touches the right side. Okay, then put 10,000 of them together, it's still the same width, because there's no width. And then he takes it to time. And he says, the front end of the time and the back end of the time, there's no space between them, which makes them the smallest. Therefore, the front end that touches the back end, like some people's car. So what is that name of your car again? Mini Cooper. The back bumper and the front bumper are in the same place. Okay. I don't know how she gets in it. So she says 1 millisecond must be so small that the beginning and the back of the millisecond touch each other. Then, says Ketu J, well, I guess you could pile 100 of them up together and it would still be, that long. And then the guy says, why do you say that? In between here, he says chichir, which we never write in the scripture because it would take too many pages. Understood here, chichir. He said, I don't see why that's the case. And we say, well, it makes sense because it's dute.
It's the shortest possible.
It's the shortest possible amount of time. The front end and the back end touch each other, occupy the same space. There's no thing separating them. That's infinitely small. In time also, okay? So, okay, then we got to identify the kyaba and the sewa, okay? Kyaba is easy. When you make a logical statement, take sound, it's impermanent because it's made, right? What's the kyaba? If something is made, it must be impermanent. Okay. Then let's take boo-boo. Are you telling me it's impermanent? Are you telling me it's made? Why? Because it's impermanent. That's a tengir. We just changed the logical statement to to a sarcasm, which is prasangika. Okay, that's the method of prasangika. So are you telling me, anything that's anything
Anything
that's
that's made.
must be impermanent?
Mhm.
Yeah. So I don't know, is steel impermanent? Why? Because it's made. That's a sarcasm. That's a sarcasm. So cell in this logic language is the moral equivalent of okay. Let's take sound, it's impermanent because it's made. What's the kyaba? If something's made, it must be impermanent. Well, let's take fish. Are they impermanent? Because they are made also. Then the selwa becomes the same two elements. You take the final element and the second element. Are you saying if fish are made, they must be impermanent? Yes. Okay, so that's selwa. It's the kyaba. Okay, in a prasangika. Okay, never worry about it. Every time it comes, I'll try to acquaint you with it, and then you'll get it sometime. Okay, this guy says, I disagree that 100 shortest lengths of time stacked together would be no longer than one shortest length of time. He says, I disagree. What? I disagree that 100 infinitely small seconds piled up would not be longer than one infinitely small second. He disagrees. And nor it's illogical, right? Is there a thing as one shortest amount of time? Yes. If you took 100 of those, would it be fatter? And logically, it feels like it should be, but it's not. Okay. If there's no space between the beginning and the end, and you pile up 1,000 of them, it's still no space between the beginning and the end. But the other guy doesn't get it, and he's very stubborn. I don't know why Adam got this book. Then, okay, who's going to read? Mike Hoffman has to choose a person.
Catherine.
All right, yay, Catherine. Welcome to Catherine and the team from China who are going to do all the work that the local people are too lazy to do. Okay.
What?
Right. Just kidding. This lady is one of the ones responsible for thousands and thousands and thousands of pages of and thousands of hours of Chinese language stuff English stuff put into Chinese language for our audiences. And that the expense of that, which is hundreds of thousands a year, is borne by two kids who also loaned us their house. You know, understand what I'm trying to say? And they pay for that. Huh? Yeah, and she helps run it. Yeah, so when you talk too fast, and they have to translate it into Chinese, those are the people who are suffering, John. Okay. Scott gets up. First thing he says is, we're going to hit it out of the park. And all the translators are like, okay. Okay, go. Takma.
Takma Juna,
Nice.
Tukta,
Tute.
Tukte, Geshe Matu, Nisi,
Nice.
Nisi Bar,
Good.
Hit Lin, Good Bay,
Good.
and Tuk Mai, Tai,
Good.
Geshe Mayimba, Chikle, Nisi Bar, Hero.
Stay here. It's pretty short. Dhamma Dubna, if you don't agree that 100 shortest instants piled up would equal one shortest instant, if you don't agree with that, Dute ke chigma duma misipa kelengupe. You'd kind of have to say that it's impossible to pile up shortest moments of time. Okay. Duma misipa kelengupe. Therefore, Dute ke chigma yimba chigle misipa gyuno. Therefore, anything which is, and by the way, this is an ambiguity. Where do you read the ma? Do you say kechigma? Say kechigma. Say kechigma yimba.
Kechigma Yimba.
Or say kechig
Keichik
Mayimba.
Mayimba.
Keichik
There's
Mayimba.
two ways you can phrase this. I'll give
Uh,
$300 if anybody can tell me the famous example of this phrasing ambiguity question.
Something to
because
do with a
Keichik
guy writing to his wife, and he talks about.
Okay, that's enough. That's enough.
All right.
I gotta split it with you and Anatol because he was starting to answer at the same time. So 150 each. It's the famous yak died message. Okay, which you don't have to know about. Okay, do you think Keichik Keichik see, you could read it as Keichik Mayimba, or you could read it as Keichik Yimba. Okay, so then you have to reverse engineer it. Which one makes sense? Keichikma Yimba means it is something of a moment. Keichik Mayimba means it's not something of a moment.
the first one, because it's
So
saying
let's see.
something, anything
Let's
other
see,
than
Nick. Go ahead, Nick. Explain.
I'm saying that it's saying that something other than there. It's impossible that there's something that there's something other than a single moment. So Keichikma would be the single moment. Keichikma Yimpa is other something which is a single moment, and Chikle, lei is something other than that.
Yeah, I would read it Keichikma Yimba.
Yeah.
Because what he's saying is
Mhm.
you could never have more than one Keichikma at a time. There
Mhm.
can only be one smallest instant at a time.
Mm-hmm.
No matter how many stacked on top of each other, its width would still be only 1 millisecond in time. Okay, got it? And this K-Dub J, he's about to say how smart he is, and he figured it out. Okay, if you have the smallest unit of time, it shouldn't matter how many you pile together. It shouldn't be longer than the smallest unit of time. That's a difficult idea, but it's true. These are all discrepancies which Nagarjuna pointed out that don't make sense if you take the world as coming from the outside. And his job, Nagarjuna's life, was devoted to pointing out that stuff doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense to say that the world is made of atoms. It just doesn't make sense. Because if it truly is the smallest thing in the universe, it doesn't matter how many you stack up. It shouldn't make a pizza. Got it? You see what I mean? All right. She wants to read one more. She was begging me, Adam. Kath. Okay.
Yeah, Chima,
Okay.
Gya, Tupa,
Tupa.
Yung In Yang, Tup Te, Ya Chikma, Ya Bu, Tu Tumbe, Ta Tupa In.
Nice. Good reading. Thank you. Yute Kichigma means the instant smallest unit of time. Let's say you took 100, yeah. And tuba means, let's say you join them into a single flow. You glued them together. Tuba means, let's say you glued them together. Then you have a gyun, then you have a flow.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you'd have a flow, but it wouldn't be any 100. The width of 100 smallest units of time wouldn't be any thicker than a single smallest unit of time. You stack 10 zeros together, it's still a zero. Got it? That's K-Dub. It makes sense. Okay, that's the shortest amount of time. If you take a thing with zero duration and you stack 100 together, the stack itself has zero duration because the beginning and the end touch each other. They occupy the same space. Therefore, there's no width. Therefore, there's no time. And that's an atom. The only indivisible thing is a single point in space. And then it doesn't matter how many single points in space you add up in geometry. They equal a single point in space. That's unfortunate. That's how you draw triangles and stuff like that. Okay. All right. I understand because I read Kiri's science fiction book. All right. Who's next? You choose. Catherine's going to choose, Adam.
Okay.
Well, Kelsey?
I'm guessing. Thank you for coming. Thank you for all your hard work to translate for all these years. Okay, we got Yeltsin. You want some water? No. Okay, we're gonna keep it over there.
Detana dute kachikma
Kechikma.
kechikma gyapodute kechikma chiktan yunring yam yampar gyuro shena dude pa yeno
They look, go like
They-
this. They do, but you know.
they dupe yeno
Yeah, this guy's attacking us, and well, you must be saying this, and we're like, that's what I've been trying to say.
duh.
Mhm.
It's very fun in the Tibetan. It's very beautiful. Okay, so let's read it together, Gyaltsela. Detana. Well, if it's like that,
Mhm.
duta means
The
smallest
smallest.
amount of time, which you can think of as no edges. Kechigma, if you take those 100 of those points in time where the beginning and the end touch each other, okay, and there's no duration between, then and if you took the flow of 100 smallest moments of time, and you took, on the other hand, one of those smallest moments of times, the other guy says, but wouldn't the yun ring be the same? Yun ring means long,
Length.
short,
Mhm.
which is the way in Tibetan to say length in
Length.
time, length in time. What's length in space? Like che chung or something. Ring ta,
Ring.
ring
Ring
tung,
talk, ring.
ring tung.
This is ring.
Yeah, this is, oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, the length, the duration of 100 smallest moments of time, according to your stupid idea, this is the other guy talking. Look, according to everything you've been saying, KWJ, then I would have to conclude that the length of the smallest instant of time and the length of 100 of those put together would be equal. And KWJ goes, finally. Yeah, the guy thinks the guy thinks he got one over on KWJ. KWJ's like, now you got it. Okay. He's trying to do a tongue gear. And you rarely see such a reply. The guy says, well, Connie, do what you're saying, the length of the smallest moment of time and the length of the 100 smallest moments of time put together would be completely equal, you idiot. And KWJ says, that's exactly what I'm saying. Okay, got it?
Mhm.
Okay. Which again is a Nargajunian pointing out the discrepancy in people's beliefs. And Nagarjuna can't believe that we all are fine with those discrepancies and we don't go around worrying about it. Okay, you can choose the next victim. Yalse is going to choose the next victim.
Nancy.
New York. If she talks Tibetan with her coffee accent, don't worry about it. From Brooklyn, right? Here, Manhattan. No.
Westchester.
Westchester.
Where are we starting?
Well, no. Juan, can you help her?
I'm okay.
Oh, she's
Give
okay.
me a chance here.
All right, go slow.
Ona ke chikma gyapola ke chikma chigi yun se le me pa
Maybe.
le de pa ke tuk
Yeah, two.
tuk kyang gun dumi gyuro jena.
No, interesting counter argument. Okay. If you're saying that 100 of these smallest moments of time, Kechik Magya, put them together, it wouldn't last any longer than a single moment in time, smallest moment in time. If you're saying that 100 smallest moments of time stacked together wouldn't go on for any longer than a single smallest moment of time, then gap two, when you put 100 together in a flow, two means like flowing together. How could you ever call it a flow?
Gundu Menkuro.
if 100 put together is no longer than one by itself, then how can you say there's a flow over time of 100? Because it wouldn't be any longer than a single one. Then how can you use the word flow? It's not a bad question. Okay. Nancy's begging. She wants to show New York people can do this, Adam.
Okay.
Okay.
You serious?
Yeah.
That's the spirit, Nancy.
The new #1 city in America is Rembrandt.
I was going to say Uray.
You want me to continue?
Please.
경매대
Nice.
왼통인민 순향 왼통여매 영매 미승배 왜 미승왜
It should be
치료
Bay, actually.
배
Yeah.
미승배
You
치료
corrected it by accident. Or on
very
purpose.
much
sorry.
accident.
Okay, I gotta get this. I'm sorry. Yeah. Adam, I'll give you $500 if you translate this correctly. Go
Kumete.
slow, go slow, go slow, go slow.
Okay.
Because I'm not just throwing money away.
Okay. Kumete. So yeah, we deny that there's any such problem there
Yeah, what problem? We don't say there's a problem.
with
There's
stringing.
we don't accept your idea that there would be the problem, that there would be no flow if 100 stacked together didn't last any longer than one by itself.
Mhm.
We don't think there's a flow problem here because very difficult Tibetan here, very subtle.
Ring tung yemen sung kyang.
And I'll give
But
you a clue, Adam.
yeah.
Whether or not, you're going to need it twice here.
Okay.
There's $250 for one whether or not, and
Okay.
it's $250 for the other whether or not.
Okay. So they may match yin min sung one another in that they're both the same duration.
Not really.
and-
This is
but they
this is yin is
mhm.
and yu is in the sense of exists.
Yeah.
Yin is in the sense of identification. Yu
So-
is in the sense of being there. And in English we use is for both, but Tibetan breaks them into two.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the sung here has got to be match, right?
Yeah.
And then so would the ring tung yame mitsung wei chero because they differ mitsung because they differ.
I'll
in how
give you a
long-
clue, okay? And
and-
that's all the clues I'm giving you because it's a lot of money.
Okay.
Whether or not they are,
Yeah, whether or not they're both the same, like the
no,
same.
whether or
length.
not they are ringtung.
They're both the same length, like the
No,
same.
take ringtung as a noun, like hot, cold, big, small.
I mean, I would say duration, right? Like,
Yeah, duration. Okay.
yeah. I mean, that's kind of what I meant by length. Like,
Okay, good. They are
He's the duration
equivalent,
originally, just for
they
fair.
are, they are equivalent in being duration.
yeah,
They are
yeah.
not equivalent in
Exists.
That's,
having duration.
but they differ in terms of,
Mm.
yeah, in terms of duration, in terms of length.
Nah,
Mhm.
they are equivalent in being duration, but they are not equivalent in having duration.
Wow.
Whoa.
Well,
Whoa.
yeah. Okay.
Yeah. That's hard.
Well, this would be the Yume then. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so $300 I'm paying, but not 500. Okay.
Okay.
I'm paying 200 to myself.
Okay. I would say,
Say it
okay.
again for me now. Say it again for me and thresh it out.
Okay.
They
Those-
are equivalent in
They are equivalent in duration, but they're not.
in being duration.
In
Okay,
that
well,
they are
okay,
units
well,
of duration, something
hold on,
like
hold on. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I just didn't want to talk like all at the same time, and I was kind of
Go
right
for
in the
it.
middle of a thought.
It's your money.
Yeah.
honey.
So the ringtung yin, so they're equivalent in having that duration, in being that
Yin.
duration, in being
Yin.
that duration. And
Good, good.
ringtung ye me mitung. They're not equivalent in having that duration.
Nice. They
Yeah.
are equivalent in being duration, but they are not equivalent in possessing duration. There's 100 shortest moments stacked together and one shortest moment standing there by himself. They are both time, but they don't both have time.
They are duration. They don't possess duration.
They are duration, but they don't possess duration.
Is that's
They are a measure of time, but they don't have any time between.
that would not be true of atoms, right? I mean, that would be a
No,
different matter.
this Sung argument here is
Yeah.
meant to be carried, because he uses the word Sung, it's meant to be carried over into atoms. He's using time
Um,
to make everything clear. So you'll say, oh, I get it. And the same's true of atoms, right? And he goes, yeah, that's what I was trying to get you to understand. That's why I went to time.
so atoms aren't Pemba. They're a measurement of Pemba.
Something like that. Yep. Okay, it's time for me to get out of here. You and me, let's take a trip. It's time for Peachtree World News. No, I'm sorry. It's time for Adam to defend why we're talking about our stuff.
Yeah, even harder. Now you're in
Uh,
real trouble.
yeah. Well, it's, you know, it does kind of all come back. I think from from month to month, we do kind of come back to the same thing, right? Which is what Geshe kind of hit on in the third question of the homework today. He took a few minutes to kind of drill in the fact that
It's just that
what
he
we're-
didn't hit on anybody. Just to make it.
he was okay. Well, thank you, Stanley, for clarifying. Yeah, because I could have sworn that's what he said in the third question of the homework. Yeah, so I think he was touching upon rather than hitting upon. He was touching upon the idea that what we're doing is misperceiving reality, right? We're taking objects to be external of our own perceptions and that they're somehow independent of our own kind of existence, right? They're triggering our awarenesses from moment to moment. But what all these arguments are meant to do is to kind of reiterate and clarify over time through analytical reasoning, so that we can prove to ourselves that these things don't actually exist in the way that they appear. So each one of these arguments is meant to do that, and I think the reason that we went from coffee cups and talks of actual, like let's say actual objects, we split those two into smallest moments of awareness and indivisible atoms. And so if you can cover those two aspects of reality, what the first and second school consider to be quote unquote real, has to be either of those two things. It has to be something made of partless particles, or it has to be something that's consisting of indivisible moments of awareness. And so if you can kind of go through and show reason, if you can reason through why reality doesn't exist as either one of those two things, then you should be able to prove to yourself why and how reality doesn't exist in the way that it appears. And I think you could take that obviously to the highest school, in which Geshe was talking about seeds and trees and causes and effects. And anyways, and then obviously you can translate that into the kitchen too, where your angry husband does not exist in the way that he's appearing, right? Independent of your own perceptions. What was that, sweetie? Ava just said that she is in the kitchen. The Ava, yeah. Yeah. So there is no Ava in the kitchen that exists independent of my own perceptions. Yeah, but you don't exist in the kitchen in the way that you appear to me right now. Yeah, so as far as practicality goes, I mean, I had a discussion this Friday in our Pramana class that we're going through on Friday mornings. And I think the topic came up about analytical reasoning, and I had to point out that after spending a lot of time at the monastery and hanging out, or excuse me, at this institution of higher learning that I was fortunate enough to stay at for a while. There's a courtyard where the students there debate. And I used to spend my evenings just kind of hanging out and watching everything. And it kind of hit me one night that in between the three types of meditation, that these students were involving themselves in analytical reasoning, analytical meditation, that you don't necessarily have to withdraw the senses, and you don't have to be on your meditation cushion to be engaging yourself in analytical meditation. And I think that really reading these texts like this and going through them like we are, I think we're all kind of involving ourselves in analytical meditation right now, even though our eyes aren't closed and we're not on the meditation cushion. And I think what you can do is take these things from our class, from our text, and you should be able to translate them into when you're stuck in traffic or somebody cuts you off, somebody gets your order wrong at the coffee shop, right? Whatever it may be, you should be able to take this and use it as analytical meditation juice to carry with you throughout your day. When it comes to practicality, I don't know if I can come up with anything more practical than that. But I'm also not the smartest tool in the shed, so I'd like to hear what somebody else has to say. I was trying to tell a joke. It wasn't that funny because nobody laughed.
I think it's a cool way to explain an absence. Like that's what I was thinking about when we were talking about this. Because I think at least when that was first presented to me, like emptiness is like an absence, or I was like, what does that even mean? Like it took me like probably like a year to be like to feel like I even kind of understood that a tiny bit. But when you talk about you kind of walk someone through something they thought existed, but it can't, and then you talk about like adding together zeros, like it can maybe make it more understandable to people, because I feel like that term can be confusing, but when you talk about it as like a zero, like people understand what zero is. So yeah, or zero of something.
That's pretty interesting, right? There's a point in this book where KJ goes to point out whether or not absences are physical things or not. Like, can you perceive an absence with your eye? Or does it have to be something that is only... Anyways, I thought it was interesting to think about from that perspective too. So you're saying absence... I got a little distracted, so I missed like part of it. Can you just again, how are you relating that to our discussion of like time?
At first I got confused because they were talking about the smallest instance of something and then saying it had zero width, and I was, well, if it's the smallest, then it couldn't be zero because zero means it's not there. It's an absence of that thing. And then I was like, oh, what he's trying to point out is that what we think is there isn't there. There isn't a smallest moment of this thing where the right and the left side touches. That's an impossibility. And that's why he's talking about it in terms of zero and like stacking up zeros. But at first I was confused. I was like, how can it be the smallest if it's nothing? Like if it's not, doesn't have a width.
Yeah, that's interesting, because then I have to think to myself, does smallest mean zero? Or are we talking infinitesimal? Nick's saying get down.
Everybody slow down. Everybody slow down.
I had a message in the chat from the translator for us to slow down for them. Not at all. I'm just glad it wasn't me today.
I don't know if I don't know if smallest means zero. I mean, that's something interesting to think about, right?
I don't see how it could. I think they're like, if something exists, it can't be zero. Like those two feel like they can't coexist. what I took it more as is him pointing out the impossibility of it, like the smallest thing that we think it actually isn't there. That's what I felt like he was saying. But I don't know.
Okay.
You
I
know,
see.
I'm free associating a little bit, but I do think it's a choice in description. You could say that zero is the smallest thing, or you could say that it's too small to be considered a thing, and you could make either argument. And it seems like this was a discussion about the difference between descriptions and reality. And do we get caught in some sort of limitation, the way we talk about something, the way we think about something that's different than the way that things are? Um, I'm right in the middle of something here.
You think?
Okay, I love you. Okay, so his thought apparently is that
Yeah.
we get stuck with our ideas and the question of how connected with reality they are or not. I think about this a lot. How often am I stuck in my own head and not paying attention to what's in front of me? And I think it's really nice as practitioners or aspiring practitioners trying to have a practice, we're learning to pay attention. And so I felt that urging in a way. Am I talking about the world, or am I living my life? I get stuck in like frustrated loops about things, or I get in an argument and I'm playing out the argument in my head, and just like not noticing the people in front of me, the situation on the ground, and what's really happening. And so I don't know, like I said, it's maybe a little free associative, but it seems like this book is asking something about, are our descriptions, are our words reality, or is there reality that's different than our words? And I think that requires a lot of paying attention, which pays a lot of dividends in itself, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, I think, I mean, from what I heard, I could kind of go through some free association too. And I think that pretty much parallels exactly what I was trying to say earlier. And I think you put it much more eloquently, but that's kind of what I was attempting to say. We do. I mean, we tend to kind of get stuck in this passive observance, right? From the moment that we step out of bed, we're kind of thrust into our perceptions and into the world. And it kind of feels like we're swimming a little bit in these, these perceptions that we take as being external. And it does. It just takes I think, somebody putting a stick into the spokes of your mental bike to really trip you up enough to be like, oh, okay, I probably need to look at the situation a little deeper. And then you can closely tie that to, because I tend to find this relief when I settle into the emptiness of a situation that's giving me problems. I feel like it takes so much weight off my shoulders. There's a certain a quality of peace, I think, whenever I really am reminded of that.
I'm trying to leave myself open to be surprised more. And my expectations are so limiting, the stories in my head that came from the last time this happened. But this time is different than the last time this happened, or the time it happened before. It's always different.
Yeah.
The changing facts on the ground, in a sense, are always something quite new. But the BS going on in my head got put there from the last time. The story I'm telling in my head is coming from the last time. But what's happening now is new and special.
Yeah. Yeah. Just some food for thought. If we have zero, time for Peachtree World News. Yeah. Okay. All right. Love you guys. Once again, another amazing class. Always had fun. Thank you, Geshe Michael.
There he is. Thank you, Adam. Thank you, Geshe Michael. Thank you, everybody.
Hello, Adam.
Hey, Juan.
Hope to see you soon here in Arizona.
I'll be there in a few days, about a week. Yeah.
We have to talk about the Pramana sessions on the schedule and everything.
Yeah.
All right. Just for those for those who may not know, Adam and I do Pramana sessions on Friday. Very exciting. You will hear more about it later. Okay, let's start because I think spring is coming up. It's very interesting. I see. Remember, we were talking about the Grand Hawk Day and how different cultures will celebrate. This is because the middle of the equinox of winter solstice and spring equinox, or the other way around, I remember. But it's because then we are in a transition, and I can feel it also here in the energy. We had like a few weeks or months of quietness, and now I think the energy is catching up again. We have big events coming up, big parties, the Chinese New Year, the 10th anniversary. People are start to visiting, so it's getting loaded. I can feel the spring in the air. Like people are getting more excited in general, I guess. Okay, let's go with the news. And let's show you, yes, as Geshe was saying, our dear friend Johnny O, it's alive. And it's, you know, getting his platelets jumped from 73 to 125,000. That's amazing. Thank you for everyone who did the prayers. Yes, I was going to say the fundraising, but the prayers and the fundraising as well. I think Aisha, Anatol, Kitty, many people were involved. Daniel Garcia, thank you so much. And we want to send him best wishes. Hope he comes visit soon. Now, I don't know, you know, these are the news, but it's my responsibility to say that. Don't you find it suspicious that he planned his surgery just a few days before the Super Bowl, when he can be at home, not having to work? I don't know. We'll figure it out. But tomorrow is the Super Bowl, Sunday at 4:30. I don't know who's going to organize. Maybe Tim at his house, Mike Hoffman. Who's going to host the Super Bowl? We don't know yet, but I don't really know. I guess that's true. So that may be what, at 5:36? We'll find out about that. To be honest, I'm not used to the Super Bowl, but I know it's important here, so I'll bring it up after, you know. Sure. Yeah, you're right. So, but then, you know, we'll find out who's going to be the host tomorrow. And we hope it's a fun day. Okay, other news. Rosa, she did amazing job. Thank you so much. What's going on there? Oh, I see what happened. Marina, okay, anyways, long story, things have changed. You can see this is news, fresh baked today. Now the book is ready now. It was supposed to be ready for shipping on February 23rd, but that's not the case anymore. The case is that it's ready now, today. And the ebook is going to be available on February the 9th, just very soon. What's that? 2 more days, on Monday. So this is the book. It's amazing looking because I haven't read it, so I'm not going to lie. But I bet, I have this trust that it's going to be great. Geshe is saying that it's great book for people who want to start learning all these materials, like the whole system. So I'm very excited to check it out. I may have to read it for sure. Otherwise, how am I going to talk about it? Okay, thank you, Rosa, so much. And Anatol, editing and printing. Next picture, please. This is where Rosa is super happy about it. Yay, thank you, Rosa. Okay. And Anatol, yay. Because, well, sure. And the translator, Geshe, thank you. Yay. Okay, we need to start moving faster. Ready, Marina? Okay. What is it? Yeah, last time you couldn't see, many people I noticed, nobody pay attention to this video. But if you want to watch it, you can access it. It's now on YouTube. And we have two versions, the short version, 3 minutes, and the longer version who really explain how it works, 5 minutes and 40 seconds. You can watch there if you want. If there is time, I play the short version at the end, but I doubt it. No. Who's that? Oh, yeah, not yet. Maybe at the end. Okay, let's go. Oh, something else. That was on February the 2nd. But also something that I forgot to mention that also happened February the 2nd. Birthday. So it was the birthday of our dear friend. Is the next picture, please? Can you hear the bell? Yay. So Megan had her birthday. She's one of the people from YSI. They are coming very, very soon. And I hope she's going to celebrate her birthday at Earl's house or something. We'll see what happens. But a lot of parties coming up. Okay, speaking of parties, Lindsay's producing the biggest party of the year, the Diamond Color Classics 10th anniversary, along with the Chinese New Year. I'm not going to talk about it. What's that? ¿Dónde? Yes, it's going to be in the center of the universe, Rimrock, Arizona, Dragon's Head, the prettiest garden in the city. It's like the royal, what's that in Japan? The Imperial Gardens of Rimrock. It's like, yeah. All right. Soon to come. But for that, I'm not going to talk about it. I'm going to have the main producer with us today, Lindsay, on camera, telling us what is it going to be like.
Hey, also. Can we go poster for the...
Hey, yay. No, we are still in the other poster.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yay.
Yay. Okay, so not this Monday, but the Monday after. So in a little over a week, we're having this celebration of 10 years of Diamond Cutter Classics and the Lunar New Year. Want to invite everybody to come, and please bring your friends. It's going to be... there's going to be a special teaching from Geshe, and then we'll also be reflecting on the 10 years of this beautiful program. Most of the translators are all going to be together in person at Dragon's Head for the first time in many years, so we'll get to see them all on camera together. We'll have games and opportunities to support Diamond Cutter Classics, and it's just going to be a really fun time, kind of relaxed. So please bring your friends. It's Monday evening in Arizona time, which is Tuesday morning in Asia. We know it's not the best time for Europe, so we will rebroadcast it the next day so that people in Europe can watch it at a time that's more convenient and not in the middle of the night. So, yeah.
Beautiful. So what I wanted to ask Lindsay is about the dinner party afterwards and the possibility of a dance party afterwards. What have you to say about that?
Oh, yeah. So we'll have dinner after for the people in person. We're going to have Chinese food. And yeah, if people want to bring, we will have musical equipment set up. So if somebody wants to volunteer to DJ or something like that, the night will be young when we finish. So we can definitely stay, hang out, dance, all that fun stuff.
Amazing. Amazing. So if anybody wants to come live, they should reach out to you.
Yes.
Otherwise, join with that QR code link online. Correct?
Yeah, and this is kind of instead of class on that Monday, so it's the same link. So the same link that you normally use to attend this class, you can use to attend our celebration, although it is 1 hour later. So rather than class normally starts at 4 p.m. Arizona time, this will start at 5 p.m. Arizona time. So we'll just start 1 hour later, but it's the same link, and it's the same-ish time. So.
We have a question from the audience. Is there still a class
that
day?
No, everything's just going to start 1 hour late. Yeah, and we're going to do this instead and just we're going to take a day off to celebrate 10 years of the translation project. Yeah.
All right, so that means no Peachtree World News on Monday.
Well, you're going to be there.
Oh, I have to still help. Well, I'll try to help in your production. What about that?
Yeah.
Trade.
Sounds
okay. Thank you so much. Okay, Lindsay, thank you so much. Keep us posted. We will have to report this again on Monday because the audience may be different. So I'll try to have you again very soon.
Cool. Thanks, Hasso.
Okay, thank you as well. Good luck. Say hi to Rob. Tell him I miss him to do fun things and stuff. What's that? Oh, yeah. No. What else is coming up? Oh, yeah, just a reminder that Lindsay's also doing not the G-Box, the Good Night Book Club. You can sign up for that as well and support this beautiful cause. And also you will be eligible to be part of the daily mailing list with the real news are shared. Like my friend Stanley says, real news are never on TV. So that's very interesting. Okay, let's keep going. Bhagavad Gita coming up after the party on Dragon's Head. You can stay here around for just a few days. And Bhagavad Gita is going to start on February the 19th to the 22nd. If for any reason you want to come and you need housing, talk to the Peachtree World New team and we'll try to help you. Chloe has expertise about how to handle those situations. There is the QR codes. And if you want to be a volunteer because that's your excuse not to come, don't worry, we can fix it as well. Scholarships are available and you can apply now. Yay. Okay, let's keep going. Let's see how much further can we go. Cristina Casica, she has a new poster with a collaboration with Marina. They make this beautiful poster to invite you all to their Sanskrit session. It's Wednesday, correct? And Thursday. Where's Cristina? Yes. So thank you, Cristina, for doing this. Wednesday for beginners, more like session 1. And level 3 for those on Thursday. Brave Souls on Thursday. Okay, what else? On Friday, we have Angeli Nicole. Where is she? She's not here today, but she's preparing, I'm sure, for her class coming up this Monday about compassionately embracing grief, part of the Blue Sky Friends series, letting you know. A reminder that one of the dreams of our friend Marianne, which is in retreat, is to have many, many subscribers. So if you want to help her with her project, you can check it out. And if you like it, you subscribe. I'm going to convince it to give a few episodes for free so people can taste that. Maybe that works. I'll try. Okay, Diamond Mountain having their long retreat. If you're thinking to do a long retreat, you can still do that. It's going to go from March 20 to April the 20th. After the classes in Diamond Mountain. So you can stay there and stay longer for 4 weeks of meditation and retreat. And this is the information for the new poster, actually, for the Diamond Mountain event, which, by the way, is in person, is already full. You can still come, but you're going to have to commute. But the cabins and the campings are filled up. But I think, yes, we talked about it before, but I'm going to mention it again. There is a group of people, I'm going to show you the poster, who are organizing commuting in case you want to come. Oh, that previous picture is because there's going to be still going to be a party for the book over there. Okay, party again for the book. I'm telling you, spring is coming up. And finally, I don't know, do you want to see the Grindhound or do you want to go to Peachtree and have okay, let's play the Grindhound documentary, Marina. And with that, we say goodbye. Hope you have a good day. This is the short version, don't worry. Okay, thank you, Marina, and thank you, everyone. We watched the Greyhound Day, and then we got to Peachtree. Thank you.
It all started in the good old Europe. Over the centuries, people began to discover different methods for obtaining information out of nature. One of those methods was observing and learning from animal behavior. On one hand, we have the Celtic tradition of celebrating midwinter, the gradual return of light, the beginning of nature's awakening, the transition from winter to spring. On another hand, around this time of year, the Germanic people used to observe hibernating animals like hedgehogs and beggars. The animal's shadow was the key sign for them to predict the upcoming weeks. It was explicitly associated with the remaining duration of the winter. This prediction side of the tradition is indeed distinctly Germanic. Okay, so you may be asking right now, were these just superstitious and naive people? Or is there any logical reason to believe these practices could actually help to predict the weather? Apparently, there is a relationship between sunny days and colder temperatures during wintertime. Usually, sunshine days bring colder weather during winter days. Now, the animal seeing its shadow has more meaning since pretty much only during sunny days the animal will be able to see its own shadow. So, what about Candlemas Day? Candlemas is a Christian tradition that is celebrated on February the 2nd. It happens 40 days after Christmas. Traditionally, Christmas is the celebration of the birth of Jesus. The official celebration date is December 25th. In ancient times, there was a Jewish tradition for the woman to come to the temple 40 days after having a male baby. It was 80 days for a female. For the mother of the baby to do a purifying ritual to come back to social and religious life activities. And number 2, presenting the baby to the temple, something that the law required for the firstborn sons. When Christian tradition extended all over Europe, all of these celebrations and practices got mixed together. Nowadays, in England, for example, we can hear sayings like, if Candlemas days be fair and bright, winter will have another flight. But if it be dark with clouds and rain, winter is gone and will not come again. As we mentioned before, February 2nd falls nearby the middle of the winter season, nearby the midpoint between the winter solstice and spring equinox. So when Christianity spread, it didn't eliminate these beliefs, but absorbed them into Candlemas, the festival of light. Then, in the 18th and 19th centuries, German immigrants arrive in North America. They bring with them the date of February the 2nd, this idea of the animal looking at the shadow and the observation of animals. The ideal local animal was the groundhog. Since it hibernates, it emerged in winter and it's easy to observe. This is how Groundhog Day was born. The first written record is from 1841 in Pennsylvania. From traditional wisdom to festive ritual over time, the practice has lost its real agricultural function these days, and it has become more like a folklore, humor, and community spectacle. Today, the groundhog field is a celebrity. There are many ceremonies and parties around it. It's even broadcasted on TV. And really, most people don't expect a scientific forecast, but the symbolic structure remains intact. Light and shadow, winter and spring, nature as a messenger of time.
You're the best one.
Woo. Hey, more documentaries are coming up. We need to talk about President's Day. We need to talk about okay. 14th of February. Okay. Okay, see you. Have a great weekend. See you on Monday. Thank you so much. Thank you, Marina.